Hi guys, Zach here with another Age of Empires 4 ranked video. In this game I'm playing as the English against the Mongols. And this was one of the last games I played in Season 9. I was quite disappointed in my matchup where I got to rank Gold 3 because I was playing quite a weak player. And this was quite a good matchup because I was against another Gold 3 player. So I really wanted to win this because this match would show that I deserved to be at Gold 3. And it wasn't just that I'd had some weak opponents and got a bit lucky. So this was sort of like just a consolation match. I just wanted to win this so I could prove that I deserved to be in the league where I was. Because sometimes you can get people who they get promoted to a high rank, and it's just because they've got a bit lucky, played some easy games, and then they go down straight away. So I just wanted to consolidate my position before the season ended. And strangely enough, I did actually play the Mongols in a match where I got to Gold 3 the first time, so it was quite strange that the first match I had against a Gold 3 player after that was actually against another Mongol player, because the Mongols aren't that common, and at the moment it does actually look like it's going quite well for the sheep, so that's all good. Quite a nice start there. Thankfully I haven't been scouted out and lost those sheep yet, so getting quite a good herd there, and I'll be able to get them back to the TC. Obviously sheep are pretty important, so you can have food early on, and picking up another couple around that gold vein. Now, the last opponent I played against used manga dye, and as I said in that game, it was a big mistake. Because manga dye are the last things you want to use against archer civs, because manga dye's biggest weakness is archers. So they go manga dye, I build longbows, and I will be building longbows. Now, the thing that does well against longbows is cavalry. Not manga dye which use bows, but cavalry that use spears. So that could be the horsemen. Any civ can build horsemen, and the thing that Mongols can build is keshiks as well. That's one of their special units, and they do especially well because they've got some armour, so the longbows do very little damage against them, so they could clean up a bunch of longbows if I'm not careful. So I do need to be very careful there. And you can see the age up coming in, so I'm going to be going for the council hall as I did in the match against my other Mongol player. Although, as I say, I think Abbey of the Kings possibly would be better with the king, but I've been practicing with that. I've been practicing with the council hall so far, but maybe something for the future to try using the council hall a bit more and getting the king out, getting some horseman spears with that king. I guess spears and the king would be very, very effective against keshiks if my opponent does go there. But then I guess they could go manga dye then and then take out those spears, and my king wouldn't be able to catch the manga dye because of the speed, and then they'd sort of kite. Because that's really annoying when the manga dye can kite things. Obviously they can't do that with longbows because of the range, but they can do it with other units. And it can also, what they usually used to do is hit and run, so hits like gold veins, things like that. So you just need to build towers if you don't have any anti-manga dye units on the map. Although you don't quite often see manga dye used in 1v1 matches, and I doubt it'll be used in this matchup because we are against a more skilled opponent. And there we see the Uvu. I'm just having a look around there, and we can see he's actually gone for a pasture, and that pasture will produce sheep. So the advantage of having that pasture near the Uvu is it produces sheep more quickly, and what that tells me is that my opponent is going for a more economic start, so I don't think I'll be attacked too early on, because sometimes you have different types of Mongol players. You have ones that like to attack and get early aggression, because Mongols are quite a strong civ in feudal age, and one of the strengths of their civ is the Uvu, and that they can put down military buildings next to the Uvu, and they could double produce stuff from the stone that they collect. Quite often they'll do that with things like spears and archers, and they can outproduce other people because it costs less. And we're just having a bit of a look there. We can see they've got their gur next to a wood line. I can't see any villagers next to it at the moment, and that gur might have just been doing a bit of scouting for sheep, and we can see their scout there, their cairn near our villagers. And what that cairn will be doing is he'll just be having a bit of a look around, and just seeing what I'm doing and what I've got in my base. So you'll see that I've got a council hall. He'll know that I could be building archers. And there we see the base. And we can see that our opponent is going for deer stones. And that's really important knowledge, because if he was going for silver tree, then I would be having to head and try and disrupt trade. But it occurs that he's not. I'm also going to go back to his Uvu, because now that he's seen that I'm building archers, well, I've got a council hall. He might be getting out a stable. So just having a bit of a look at that. And yeah, just getting my economy sorted. I'm also going to be building a barracks. Next to it, I'm going to be putting my blacksmith, so that'll allow me to upgrade the units. And indeed, we do see a stable. I thought that was going to happen. As soon as it seems I've got a council hall, that stable goes up. And I expect to see some Keshiks or horsemen on the map soon. He's got it right next to the Uvu, or near the Uvu, so I think he will be able to double produce. Although sometimes some advice from other players is that you should use it to build spears or archers if you're going to double produce. Because I know some people say, okay, you build Keshiks from it, and then as your opponent sees the Keshiks, they'll build a barracks, which we've already got, and they'll build spears, so you should use a double production for archers, because you can, like, the archers have obviously cost less stone to double produce, so you can double produce them more and get a good archer mass to combat the spears. But now I'm just going back to my town hall with that single sheep unit, which will obviously keep the sheep going a little bit longer. I am building some farms which are cheaper for English, so going into that farm transition quite early on. I've got some archers there. I'm just going to need to be a little bit careful at the moment, because I do know that some Keshiks might be on the map, and I don't want to lose those archers prematurely. So just keeping them close to my base now, so I can move them back if required. And now we're going to be starting to get those spears out, just to back up those archers in case they get attacked by the horsemen or Keshiks, which might be on the map. I'm also going to have to take like a good look at my economy. Just be careful of that, because sometimes you can get Keshiks to do raids on the back line, especially like those villagers that are collecting wood at the moment, because they'll be quite vulnerable. But now I'm just going to send these units out. The only thing about the Mongols is they're going to have, well, with the units they've got, they're going to have a bit more mobility than I am at this point in time. And that's a big drawback of using longbows and spearmen, is just the mobility factor. They are very slow to move around, and if you need to respond quickly and they're right out of the base, they're not ideal really. Whereas if you have horsemen and Keshiks, they're a lot faster and they've just got that much more mobility. But now we're going towards the base, having a bit of a look. We know there's deer stones near the town hall. We don't want to go next to the town hall yet though, because that'll have some fire. And now you can see those horsemen coming out. I think it's Keshiks as well. And our spearmen will be in a bit of a fight there. There did seem to be quite a few, so I might need to build up my numbers a little bit more before I go into combat. Although you can see they've pulled back a little bit. They've realised that it wasn't a good match up if they were using those Keshiks against spears, because spears, they get good trade. Spears are cheap, whereas Keshiks are quite expensive. So if we were to trade out spears against... Oh, and they're coming back now. They've seen that my spearman numbers are very low, and they're going to get those archers, but I've got some reinforcements coming in. There's 4 spears there. Let's see what's going to happen here. Is he going to pull back again? And yes, we can see he's going right back. He's realised that I've got spearman reinforcements, and it wouldn't be good for him if he was to continue that fight. Even if I did lose those spearmen, I would kill enough Keshiks to make it well worth my while. And with the longbows to back them up, I do think I had the units there in order to win that fight. And just, yeah, got a few more spears there, so I'll bring them forwards and join them onto my army. So what I could expect now is my opponents to start building archers, because they're going to need something to deal with the spears. Or what they could do with the horsemen and Keshiks is they could go around the back of my base and decide to do some raiding instead. We'll have to see what they decide to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and push towards their base. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go to the town hall, because the town hall is going to be well guarded. Let's see, what is that? Is that... Yeah, I don't know if that was a manga die. But whatever it was, it is dead now. What I was going to say, though, is I don't want to go to the town hall because that's archer fire, so that's going to do a lot of damage to both my spearmen and archers. I'm going to go to the Uvu because he's probably going to have some buildings around there, and I can do some real damage there. So that will be good if I can get there. So I'll go. What I have to be aware of, though, is that he can move buildings because he's a Mongol, so he might pack stuff up and just decide to leave. But now we're getting... Oh, yeah, he's got some manga die, actually. Bad move because I've got longbows, and those longbows are going to just easily kill any manga die that come close. And you can see he's had to pull them back, so I think that's an expensive investment that was probably not well thought out. And you can see those manga die coming forwards, but my longbows are going to quite easily take them out. And you can see he's having to pull them back. They're on low HP now, and I'm just using my spears basically to torch down the buildings. We've taken out a pasture, which is going to cost quite a bit of wood, and now we're going for the Uvu. And that's another building that they would have had to invest wood in. But we've seen they've gone on our back line, and those Keshiks have done a bit of damage and killed some bills. And yeah, as I wasn't really paying attention there. I was too focused on attack, and you can see while they've been doing that, we've been losing some of our bills. So that's really bad for us. And you can see now those Keshiks on our main building. And as I've said, I mean, I'm just going to have to, get hopefully the spears out and just try and kill those Keshiks, which are slowly getting taken down by my buildings. And now he's seeing the damage that's done to his base. He's trying to get a lot of those buildings out of the way, but a lot of those buildings going down. So we've managed to get torch some of them down. So that's going to be a big investment from his vills, and just trying to get some damage done to his other production buildings. But he's now moving them back to the safety of his TC. And I don't want to get too close to his town centre because you can see it's firing on us. It's got some vills inside, so I'm going to need to pull my units back for now. And I'll be able to send my units back to work. But I have lost quite a bit there, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to restart producing villagers. And hopefully I'll be able to get some damage done to his base. So yeah, a bit careless to me, and I'll have to be a bit more vigilant on his wood line. It's when other things are going on. So we're trying to get some villa kills right now. You can see them mining some gold, and I think we've got a couple down there. Well, just one possibly in the end, but yeah, you can see he's trying to get out, and there's some of the units going down. And you can see at the moment the problem he has is he just doesn't have the right army composition to take me on. Like, he's got Keshiks, he's lost 2 Keshiks there. He might lose almost... yeah, he's losing another one, and there's another one going down. So that's really bad control of units by our opponent. And you can see how many vills he's got on gold. He's really desperate for it because he needs it to produce the units he wants. What he might even do in his position now is go for the age up. Because if he gets the age up, he will have a counter to my spears and longbows, because he could produce men-at-arms. And then if I went, because I have early men-at-arms I could produce, but I'm not going to because the spears do really well against his Keshiks. Oh, now he's got a tower there, so that's going to provide a bit of defence for that gold vein. So I'm going to have to pull my longbows a little bit back for now. And yeah, wood economy is pretty poor because of those bill deaths. I'm just looking at these resources and seeing how close I'm going to be to an age up. Obviously, yeah, I've got quite a bit of gold, but I'm going to need to collect quite a bit of food. My army's not big, but he hasn't been producing any counter units, and I think he'll be stalled quite a bit because of that destruction I did to his Uvu and some of his production buildings. So he will take a little bit of time to recover from that. So it might be time for me to consolidate what I've got at the moment and just pull back for the time being and just focus on getting the age up. And for the age up, what I'll get is I'll get a bit of a more secure, base, because what I can go for is White Tower, which will provide a bit more defence if he decides to go for other raids. And I'm also going to build another, some more farms at home. You can see I'm actually struggling for the wood at the moment to build those farms, unfortunately. And now we're going to go for the White Tower, which I'm just having to look for a good place. I think I'm going to put it, like, probably a bit forwards, like here. Because then it'll provide some defence, maybe for the gold vein a little bit. It'll still be able to get to it probably, but it's got those two wood lines quite close to it, so it'll give me some defence for any villas that are gathering wood. I'll also be able to put some farms behind it as well, so it'll provide a bit of defence there. And there's now a bit of a gap in the fighting. I'm just having a look. Another thing that's good about the White Tower is that it can build like things like siege, which is really strong. So I don't have to build a siege workshop straight away. I can already produce siege, and that might be quite good against the Mongol player, because I had the army, I just didn't have the siege. Although I could have possibly, I know what I possibly should have got done is I should have gone for the rams. Yeah, you researched them from the blacksmith, and then I produced some rams and went in there, and that could have possibly ended the game. But I mean, yeah, it's in hindsight, it would have been the better thing to do. But we've gone with this strategy now, so we're going to get our White Tower up. We're going to get a more secure economy, and we're going to get a production building for siege. And well, it doesn't just produce siege, it can produce other things like cavalry, barracks units, archery units, whatever you want it to, really. As long as I have the resources. And I think it was a better choice than the other one. I mean, the other one I could have built that would have given me an extra town centre, which might have been nice because I did lose a lot of villas earlier on. But I'm not too worried about that because I've done a lot of damage to the other person's economy. I also killed some of his villas, so I don't know where we both are on vill counts, but you can see our opponent has done exactly the same thing, and you can see those Keshiks now coming in the back of my base, but this time I do see them. I am aware of them being there, and I've got some spears out as well, and if he's going to try and go for my wood economy now, it's right next to the White Tower, so it's not going to be good for him. And now we see his forces coming in. My army's at home as well, so it's going to be able to provide a little bit of defence. And you can see our town centre firing on those units. But now they're going to go for my housing, and that's just to make sure to stop me producing villas and stuff like that. If I get housed, but now those Keshiks going away, so it was probably the best choice to go for the White Tower and get a bit more of a secure wood line near there. And I think those Keshiks have gone for the time being. We just need to keep an eye on our back of our base. And it could be an idea at some point to build walls. That would definitely help us quite a bit. And now you can see them coming to the White Tower. But that White Tower is pretty strong. And I'll just get my villas to go into the White Tower. And he will lose some of his Keshiks here. Because that White Tower does quite a bit of damage. And you can see some of those Keshiks going down. I've also got my army quite close by, so I'm going to bring them back. We've got some spearmen chasing them. And yeah, they've lost like a couple of units there. I might have lost a couple of villas, so, which obviously is bad. But we're going to be producing more food. So getting some farms down there. Obviously a bit cheaper as the English. And I'm going to need a lot of food, of course, for the units that I want to build. I'm going to be a bit struggling maybe on wood, though, because I don't have too many villas cutting wood at the moment. And now it's just a case of building my army. Of course, I've got like some other things I can build. Just getting some of my upgrades there for my economy. Because I'm just going out of 1 TC. I'm just going to improve my economic abilities. And that'll sort of help out off-put some of that vill loss that I've had in this game. Just building some housing there. Now I'm just having to think about what I want to go here, because obviously my army composition so far has done quite well using spearmen, and you can see those horses coming back. But as soon as those horses get close, I'm just taking my units to the town centre, and he saw my gold vein, and I'm going to need to get them out. And you can see those spears getting on those horses and taking one of them out. I'm not sure, is he using Mangadai again? Yeah, because those Mangadai will do well against spears. But then I do have my longbows. So if they come towards my longbows, then they're going to get... Yeah, and they're going to come close now. Let's see if we can get them out. Also going to get some blacksmith upgrades. I guess he's using Mangadai so he thinks he can keep at range. So he doesn't have to get near my town centre. The thing is, with my longbows, they're the perfect counters, so he's not going to be able to get that much damage done. And we do know that he's coming around. As I say, walls might be a good idea at some point, but we don't really have the vills to spare at the moment, and he's not doing too much damage from raiding. It's not like I've got anything that unsafe, and that's a great thing about English and farms. They are known as a defensive civ. They've also got like defensive white landmarks, like the White Tower. So they are quite good for defence compared to some of the other civs. Whereas the Mongols, on the other hand, are sort of like the opposite. They've got no defensive landmarks, and they don't even have walls. And now we've got our horsemen, some knights inside their Uvu area. And now we're getting some vill kills there. I don't know if the opponent's noticed it. He has now, and he's taken them back. But I think a couple of vills went down there, so that was good from us. And now you can see he's going for some kills. And he's lost his Khan. He's also lost 2 Mangadai. So that's big losses, even though he did maybe kill a couple of vills there. And because those Mangadai are very expensive, and you can see some Keshiks coming out now. He's got quite a few. He's got some Keshiks and horsemen, and that's bad for my knights because there's just too many there, and those couple of knights aren't going to survive. And that's sort of like the power of the Uvu. They can do like... You can produce a lot of units in a short amount of time when you've got double production. And he might have been building stone for quite a while, and now you can see he's got those horses coming around. And I think they're trying to get like a good vantage point to attack my archers, because you can see him going for my archers now, so I'm going to bring my spears in as well. And we're sort of getting like our spears in there, and you see as soon as those spears get in there, he pulls back. And as we've got that sort of production building going round in circles there. But what we need to focus on is these cavalry units. He's trying to get a good angle of attack, but it's not working out for him, and he's lost a couple of those cavalry, so that's expensive losses for our opponent. Because he's going for like an expensive army composition, building Keshiks, whereas we're going for quite a cheap one. We've got longbows and spears, and obviously they don't cost much, and we're seeing if we can get that out actually, because he's left that a bit carelessly there. And you can see he's actually building a lot of defence towers around his town centre. And yeah, getting some more production building kills there. And this is expensive for our opponent, and it looks like he might lose another one there. We'll have to see, or it might just get away. And it doesn't. And now we'll go for that Uvu, which is obviously going to stop his stone production, and he won't be able to double produce units unless he builds another Uvu on another stone mine somewhere else. Just having a bit of a look there, and you can see my tree line is starting to run out. One of the things about this map is it doesn't have many trees, so hopefully I'm going to be able to get good map control. And also, I guess the English, if it does go on for much longer, if it goes on to age 4, we do have the Berkshire, which is another defensive landmark that has a great range and does a lot of damage to units. But it does look like I've got the upper hand at the moment. I've got a decent army, and I'm just going to have to pull them back a little bit. What we are going to need for that base is we're going to need some siege units. And you can see we're just building some more barracks now. I'm just getting some more production buildings, because what you can do if you're not careful is you can sort of like get later in the game, and if you haven't produced enough enough production buildings, then your opponent could outscale you. Because you see I am floating a few resources now, which I shouldn't be, unless I'm trying to age up. The next few minutes was just a bit of, it was just me building up my army, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to wind it on a little bit while I build up my army and start to get my siege sorted. So now we're back, and now I'm starting to add those siege units to my front line. You can see it's still got the same like basic setup. I've just got a few more units, and now I've got some siege units in there as well with those trebuchets, and those trebuchets doing a lot of damage. Those Keshiks start moving forwards, but as soon as those Keshiks start moving, we bring our spears out, and you can see those Keshiks trying to go for those siege weapons. And this time those Keshiks are actually destroying things that are quite valuable, but the number of Keshiks they need to do so is very costly for our opponents. And now you see that hasn't worked, and they're bringing in some more units, some archers as well. But we've still got a couple of trebuchet active. We've still got a couple of those other mangonels. And mangonels can do great damage against infantry and archers if they get some shots off groups of them. I'm just having a bit of a look over my economy now just to see where I can move my units. Just getting some more woodland there. The raids haven't been coming in as much now, so I don't have to worry about them as much. And just building some farms as well. A bit of a mess there, but we are getting at the very end. And you can see our opponents now are sort of locked in the final base. And we're moving our units to another gold mine, which our white tower is protecting. And we're keeping on getting those trebuchets on that condensed economy of the Mongols. And that's the thing about the Mongols, is to have a bit of trouble in these situations. And yeah, you're taking out one of those towers, because those towers can't withstand too much punishment from siege. Especially if I got to age 4, actually, I'd be able to get cannons, and they can do some great damage. So I've got some more trebuchets out there. I had a bit of a stupid rally point there. If it had some Keshiks out on the map, he could have taken out and intercepted some of that siege, but luckily they managed to be okay. And you can see that deer stones, he's been unpacked, and now he's moving it away. And yeah, I think those towers do look like they're going to go down. And I think, yeah, maybe his town centre's down as well. So we'll start to push in. And it doesn't look like there's anything that our opponent can do at the moment. You can see there's not many defensive units to fire on us. And now we're getting onto this economy. You can see there's a load of sheep gathered there. But we're just taking out these pastures. And the pastures do cost quite a bit, actually, to produce. And you can see those Keshiks, so my things are a bit out of position at the moment, and those Keshiks going for my siege, but I'm just getting my spearmen to the other side, and you can see now those vills trying to repair that town centre. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and fire on those vills a little bit, and now you can see they're coming from both sides, getting one of those towers down. And yeah, it's just a case of like defending from both sides. I've got my siege there. I can even age up now to age 4 if I need to, but I have a feeling that that's not going to be necessary. We can see our opponents have aged up to the next stage. They've got that special landmark which gives them extra stone, but I don't think that's going to help them at the moment, and they have been eliminated. So this game was a much better fight than the one I had to get into Gold 3 League. We were both Gold 3 in this game, and yeah, it was obviously a bit of a closer fight. We got, well, one of us got to Imperial Age, the other, I was in Castle Age still. But yeah, it was a good fight, and you could see all those stables. I just think he was producing possibly the wrong composition. He had Keshiks, and he possibly wasn't using them that well. Because he was just, he lost a lot of units just pouring them into spearmen. And the thing is, spearmen are so cheap to produce. And when you use them carelessly like that, I mean, they can be very good. Keshiks, but you need to use them correctly. Take them round the back, get to siege, you know, get raiding it with them and stuff like that. He did do a few raids, but the English are quite a defensive civ, so they didn't go down too well. Except for the first raid, he did quite a bit of damage where he got my wood line, but I was able to recover from that and also get some damage on him. Now, you will see in the comments that he's saying that the English is a bad matchup for Mongols and Mongols struggle against them. But actually, if you have a look at the win rates online, you will see, especially in Season 9, that I think the win rate for English against Mongols is only 48%. So the Mongols are actually the favoured civ in this matchup. That's just according to the games that are being played, though. Obviously, there's going to be different strengths and weaknesses. I think going for Mangadai, which he did now and again, I think that was a big mistake because longbows just take them out as well. So yeah, I think it was just a bit too cavalry focused on his side, and he needed to maybe focus maybe a bit. And he did build archers later on in the game, but I think there needed to be some other units mixed in there. And I think I did get a stronghold early on, and that might have prevented him from going siege because he was sort of locked in his base and he couldn't really get out to woodlines. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.